Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into some pretty incredible technology that's changing the game for anyone who works with wood. We're talking about pulsed lasers, and you're going to see how they can bring even the most delicate, priceless antiques back to life safely. So, let me start with a question for you. Picture this, a gorgeous piece of antique furniture, maybe 100 years old, but it's caked in layers and layers of old paint. Can you actually strip all of that off without leaving a single scratch, without damaging the wood underneath? Well, forever, the answer has been not really, not without a huge risk.
And here's why. The traditional methods, they're kind of like a minefield for restorers. You've got chemical strippers that just soak into the wood and can totally wreck the grain. Then there's sanding, which, it gets the paint off, but it also grinds away all those beautiful, delicate carvings. And heat guns, you're always just 1 second away from a burn mark or a nasty char. They're slow, they're dangerous, and honestly, they're just destructive.
But what if you could do that whole job perfectly in the time it takes to grab a cup of coffee? Well, today, a 300-watt pulse laser can do exactly that in about 15 minutes. This is the modern answer to that age-old restoration problem. So what is this thing exactly? Okay, in simple terms, a pulse laser is a device that shoots out these incredibly short bursts of light. And when I say short, I mean nanoseconds. That little burst of energy hits the paint, the varnish, whatever's on the surface, and instantly vaporizes it. Poof, it's just gone. And the key, the absolute magic of it, is that it happens so fast that no heat actually gets transferred to the wood itself.
Let's break down how that works, because it's pretty cool. 1, the laser pulse hits the coating. 2, the coating absorbs that energy and just turns into vapor. 3, the entire pulse is over in about 150 nanoseconds. I mean, that is an unbelievably tiny fraction of a second. It's over before the heat has any chance to sink into the wood. Here's an analogy. Think about flicking a drop of really hot water off your hand. It's so fast you don't even feel it, right? You don't get burned. It's the same principle. The wood stays cool and completely undamaged.
Okay, and you really need to hear this. Not all lasers are safe for wood. Not even close. Using the wrong kind of laser on a piece of furniture is a recipe for absolute disaster. It's a mistake that could literally burn up your project.
So here's the critical difference. You've got pulse lasers, which are what we've been talking about, and then you have continuous wave or CW lasers. A CW laser is exactly what it sounds like, a constant, continuous beam of energy. It never turns off. It's like a blowtorch of light, and it just pumps heat and more heat into the surface. Great for cleaning thick industrial metal. Terrible for wood. It will burn it. End of story. So you've got to make sure you're getting a pulse laser.
All right, the science sounds great, right? But what about the real-world proof? Does it actually stand up to testing? Let's move from the data to the details and see the verifiable proof. Check this out. The engineers at Chihalo tested their pulse lasers on 23 different species of wood, and the results are they speak for themselves. From a hardwood like oak to a softwood like pine, they got complete paint removal with zero, and I mean zero, surface damage. They even tested it on 200-year-old antique oak, and it took off the coating while perfectly preserving that priceless aged patina underneath. It just shows how versatile and safe this process really is.
Okay, so lab results are one thing. But what happens when you put this thing to work on a real messy, complicated project? Well, let's look at this case study. A restoration company took on a set of 120-year-old Victorian chairs. These things were covered in eight different layers of paint.
The results here are just staggering. With their old method, using chemicals, it took them more than 4 hours for each chair. With the 300-watt pulse laser, 45 minutes per chair. And look at the total project time. 3 full days of work got crunched down into just 6 hours. But it's not just about speed. The laser preserved 100% of the original wood grain, and all those intricate carvings were left totally intact, something the chemicals just couldn't do. It's a massive leap in both speed and quality. So you've seen the proof. This technology is the real deal. Now let's get practical. If you're sitting there thinking, wow, this could be the tool for my shop, what do you actually need to know before making that investment? Okay, first thing, choosing the right power level. This is key. For probably 90% of wood restoration projects, that 200 to 300 watt range is the sweet spot. It's powerful enough to be efficient, but it's still precise enough for detailed work. Now, if you're working exclusively on, say, priceless museum artifacts, you might lean towards a lower 100 to 200 watt machine. And on the flip side, if you're stripping paint off massive old timber beams, a higher 300 to 500 watt model will give you that extra speed. And now, the big question. What does one of these cost? This is where it gets really interesting.
If you buy a 300-watt machine through a typical distributor, you could be looking at a price tag of around $18,000. But if you buy factory direct from manufacturer like Chihalo, that price drops to around $10,500. That's a savings of over $7,500 just by cutting out the middleman. That's huge.
So let's be honest. Is this investment right for you? It's an absolutely incredible tool if you're a professional who's restoring woodwork all the time, if you want to get rid of nasty chemicals, and if preserving every little detail is critical to your work, then yes. But if you're a hobbyist who just does a small project here and there, or if your budget is pretty tight, then you know what? The traditional methods might still be the more practical choice for now.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. This technology isn't just about doing things faster. It's about making projects possible that were pretty much impossible before. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Now that you can clean the uncleanable, what incredible restoration projects could you finally take on? What beautiful things could you bring back to light?